me getting out of my 4.5-year relationship and what I learned from it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Tiana Linnell, and today, as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be talking about a very personal subject to me. I want to talk about it because I learned a lot of really good lessons from this experience of mine. So I just really wanted to come on here and share. As you can see by the title, I got out of a 4.5-year relationship last year. So I'm talking about this pretty late in the game, or I mean, it's been a while since I got out of my long-term relationship. I learned a lot of things while I was in it. I learned a lot of things being out of it as well. I just think this type of video is very helpful for young girls, young people getting into relationships, people getting out of relationships, people already in relationships. I feel the things that I learned can be helpful for absolutely everyone and anyone who aspires to just be better in relationships. I feel we all aspire to be the best versions of ourselves all the time. I mean, as much as we can. So yeah, I just thought it'd be good for me to open up a little bit today. And I'm wearing red to be a little festive. It is my favorite time of the year right now. December, Christmas time is coming. I'm so excited. We're gonna go ahead and get into me getting out of my 4.5-year relationship and what I learned from it. So here we go. Diesel is right there, my roommate's dog. But this is the first time I'm talking about this publicly, so I'm probably gonna be a little bit all over the place. I'm gonna try not to be. I got into a relationship during the second semester of my freshman year of college. Going into it, it was great. I just think it was so easy to get so wrapped up in each other and kind of just like let everything else not go, but for lack of better words, at the time, you care so much about each other, especially being young, to where other things don't matter as much. And I'm not saying all people do that, but I definitely fell victim to that. And that's definitely one of the lessons that I learned throughout this whole process. I think it comes with maturity as well, that being in a relationship and really caring about someone does not mean letting the rest of your life go. It does not mean that other things don't matter. And it also doesn't mean that other people don't matter, and that you have to make each other your top priority. Because in all reality, as much as this does not sound super romantic necessarily, and in a world where we really romanticize romantic love, you mean everything to me, I mean everything to you, nothing else matters. You know, our world really romanticizes that, and in all reality, honestly, it's just not very healthy to be so radically just wrapped into someone so much that nothing else matters. That does not sound as romantic at all, but just in reality, you can't be that way. I learned that the hard way through letting things that should have been a higher priority, letting them slip, losing some friendships, though I think with everything, the test of time goes. So not to say that me being wrapped up in my relationship was the only cause for losing some friends. It was definitely a contributing factor, I believe. But anyways, I was in a relationship through majority of my college career, and then I got out of college, and this relationship was an on and off relationship. It was on and off because both of us loved each other, and no matter how many times we broke up, we wanted to get back together and stuff like that. And that's another lesson. I'm just gonna tell the full story and then I'm gonna get into the lessons. There was cheating involved, not on my end, but there was cheating involved at one point. There were different, both blessings and different issues that were within the relationship. Some of the blessings were, well, some of the issues, I'll go with the issues first. There was definitely a trust issue, and when there are trust issues, really, like, it's a recipe for disaster in a relationship. It's not going to be a healthy, great thing all the time, and a lot of times actions are going to occur. Like, I'm going to act not because I want to act a certain way, but because oftentimes I want to prove that I'm trustworthy. And I feel like you can end up falling into this pattern of behaving in a way that typically you wouldn't behave that way, but you just want to prove that you're trustworthy so bad, and you don't want your partner to mistake anything for being untrustworthy. This is so difficult for me to talk about. That was definitely one of the issues within our relationship. Another issue within our relationship was when we fought dirty. It wasn't always him, it wasn't always me. Being just so passionate about being right in an argument, sometimes things can get unhealthy. I, for one, definitely take communication extremely, extremely important. And I try really, really, really hard not to say things that are going to hurt people's feelings just because of the heat of a moment, when I know that at the end of the day, I'm not going to really mean something. So pretty much I'm big on meaning what I say, especially when I'm upset, because I don't want to have to try to explain or try to apologize for or take back any words that leave my mouth just because I'm upset. It's just not the way to go, ever. That was definitely an issue. Lastly, another issue at the beginning of the relationship, kind of towards the beginning / middle of the relationship, cheating a little bit. And I'm not bashing or, anything to who I was with, but the cheating was not on my end. Now, like I said before, both of us were extremely young when we got together. Cheating is not to be excused, but maturity comes. And so cheating was done in the beginning-ish of our relationship. I just want to throw that out there. I don't even think it's fair for me to say that cheating was an issue within our relationship, but it did happen. So it's not something that I'm going to ignore. And it happened during one period of time. And it's something that I decided to get past. Now, not everybody gets past. Not everybody decides to get past cheating in relationships, and I completely understand. It's definitely a choice that if you have to get to that place in your relationship, either you choose to try to work past it or you let it completely go. 100%, it's up to you. It's your decision. It's what you choose to do. And that's understandable. If you choose to stay with someone who cheats on you, even once, then that's what you choose to do. If you choose to go, then that's what you choose to do. During this point in time, I chose to stay and try to work it out. Yeah. So those were some of the pitfalls, the issues, the things that happened badly in that 4 to 5 year relationship. Some of the things that were blessings were that we were like each other's best friend. We were so genuinely ourselves around each other. We really, really loved each other. I can say that honestly and truly, that it was real, and it was never it never stopped being real. Even though we're not together, even though it's over, it didn't stop being real. And another good thing was that we respected each other's families. Our families took in each other, so that wasn't really an issue. Our families really loved us. My family took him in, his family took me in, so that was never really an issue either. Thank God. I know a lot of people really have to deal with that being an issue, but that wasn't ever our issues. Now, with all of that being said though, the relationship did need to end, at least in my opinion. Now, what is that saying? There are two sides to every story and the truth is somewhere in the middle. I agree with that just because we live through our perspectives. My perspective is what makes my reality, just like his perspective is what makes his reality. And neither is said to be wrong or right. It's just, it is what it is. Our realities, our perspectives are what they are. There's not really an absolute within them just because our perspectives are different. From my perspective, things did need to end. It was for the betterment of me. It was for the betterment of, I think, honestly, each other. I believe that both of us could be better people outside of the relationship. I don't think we brought out the best parts of each other all the time. I don't. And I honestly think that we kind of at times brought out the worst of each other. Now, there are times we brought out, I think, the best, but we also brought out the worst. And not to say that you're not going to go through ups and downs with someone. When things get to a point where it seems like the battle is like 80% of the time, 70% of the time, pretty much what I'm saying is majority of the time it's a battle to keep things, it's a battle to keep things good, then I think that it's probably time to at least consider letting things go. Here are the things that I learned from being within the relationship. It's good to be your partner's friend. It's a very, very important thing to be your partner's friend, your partner's best friend, at least one of their best friends. Y'all need to be able to be good even when things aren't necessarily romantic, intimate, whatever type of relationship you have. You want to make sure that y'all are good, like y'all are on good terms. And y'all aren't always gonna be feeling close in that romantic, intimate way. But it's good to make sure that y'all have a solid relationship outside of that, like solid. You want to be able to do things outside of the house, first of all. And something else that I learned within my relationship is that you want to make sure that you're on the same page with where y'all want to be. Success-wise, spiritually. And when I say on the same page spiritually, I'm not telling people to judge other people's spiritual walks. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that it's good to have open, honest conversation about where you are, what you believe, and how important your beliefs and spirituality and all of that is to you. Like for me, I try to be better each and every day. Obviously, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. No one's expected to be perfect. But it's important for me to have a partner who prioritizes being better spiritually. Now, I'm not saying we always have to be at the same level at the same time. I'm not saying that at all, because our spiritual walks are our own. But in order for me to think seriously about being with someone, it needs to be important to you to be better spiritually for yourself, not for me. you can try to do things for other people, and this goes spiritually, anything. You can try to do things for other people, but it won't last forever if it's not genuinely coming from you. Another thing that I learned within the relationship is that it is 100%, it's so important to maintain a sense of self and individuality. I got to a point where I was so just into who I was with, my ex, that my sense of self and individuality slowly started to like mold into what it is that I thought he wanted me to be, and what it is that I thought he wanted. And I put an emphasis on what I thought, because in all reality, I found that a lot of the time, the things that I thought wasn't necessarily the reality of what he actually wanted. And to go above and beyond that, even if what I was trying to be was what my ex wanted at the time, that I don't want to say does not matter, but you got to be true to yourself. I don't want to say what your partner wants doesn't matter, because there's definitely room and ways to compromise in a relationship, but things that you should never compromise in any relationship are your values and yourself. Like parts of yourself, you shouldn't do it. First of all, it's not sustainable. Secondly, you're not going to be happy, you're not going to be at peace. And thirdly, it's not a genuinely good relationship for either one of you, because your partner's not getting all parts of you. You're kind of gypping yourself, you're gypping your partner. Honestly, sometimes you don't even notice it, you don't even see it until it's already done. And that's something that I realized. It's the things that I compromised about myself for what I thought was the betterment of the relationship weren't things that were actually making the relationship better or making me happy. It's easier to just be you from jump. They know the type of person that they're getting when you are not compromising yourself at any time. Some things that I learned from being out of the relationship are just learn. I've had such a fun time learning. I'm out of college. I've been out of college for a few years, and I've had the most fun learning now that I'm out of school, period. And I just learn more and more. And when I say learn, I mean, honestly, I'm learning a lot about myself. And that's one of the biggest things and takeaways that I've gotten from being out of my long-term relationship, just having a lot of time to myself, to be with myself, to learn the things that I like, to learn the things that I don't like, to learn more about my own flaws, my own mishaps, my own little quirks, familiarizing myself with myself again. And honestly, now I'm doing it as an adult, so it's different from me knowing who I was when I was a kid, which honestly, you know, we're all ever growing and ever changing as we go through life. So as life continues to go, we're all going to change. We're all going to hopefully mature and just be better. But change is inevitable, and we change with time. And just being able to have the time, space, all of that to really learn different parts of myself I feel so valuable, because when I do go into another relationship, I'm going to know more about the things that I need versus the things that I want. Just the more you learn about yourself, it's easier to weed out the things, the people that you now know are not going to do you any good, or at least do you any good for too long, you know? I've learned more and grasped more self-respect, and I tolerate less BS. So yeah, that's a number one. A really major key thing that I've learned is that my peace is to be prioritized at all times. It's not up for question. If anyone or anything is at a point of disturbing my peace of mind especially for a long time, like, no, it has to go. And it's not to be mean, it's just that it's just not worth it. Our peace of mind is so precious. Not everybody has it. Not everybody is in their right mind, and it's not a funny thing. And if you have that option to protect your peace of mind, to protect you, then protect yourself. Getting out of a long-term relationship can be hard, whether it be with a romantic partner, whether it be with a long-term friend. It sucks, for lack of better words. It can 100% suck all the way. It can feel terrible. It can feel and be heartbreaking. It can be heartbreaking. But if you allow it, it can always make you better. We don't have much control over the things that happen to us in life, but we do have control over our reactions. We do have control over how we continue life after things happen, once things happen. And I choose to be as positive as possible. I choose to be as loving as possible. Being kind and being loving can be seen as weak, but it's not weak. You know, it is so it's so strong. You are so strong if you're able to go through the worst of situations and then get out on the other side still loving and still kind to people who deserve it. I'm not saying be anyone's doormat. Do not do that. Do not stay in situations and relationships that are toxic and kind of draining your energy, your positivity. Always try to be the best you that you can be. That, like, legit, that's all we can ever do. And me getting out of my 4.5-year relationship was kind of a restart button for me. There were probably times that I was weak within my last relationship. I'm sure that there were, actually. But the difference between being weak at points and being a weak individual is just that I know I'm not a weak individual. I know I don't live in a state of weakness. I know I'm a very strong woman, and I know that I'm always going to get up on the other side better, or at least I'm going to try with all my heart and soul, with all my might. You don't know a person by who they are in their best moments, or who they are when everything is easy and good. You really see a person when they're going through hot water. You really see a person when they're going through the hardest of times. And how people are during hard times, during irritating times, when someone's mad at you, all of that shows you more than a good day could ever show you about somebody. Who you are when everything is falling apart, when nobody's looking, when you're pissed off, that's who you are, at least at that moment. Not to say that you can't change, but don't strive to be the best version of yourself just when it's convenient. Do it when it's the hardest to do it, because that's when it really matters the most, you know? there are a lot of hard things to go through in life, and getting out of long-term relationships are some of the hardest things to go through relationally. Leave a comment down below if you've gone through a similar experience. Please subscribe, like this video if you enjoy videos like this. And if you have any questions, go ahead and also ask me down below and I will answer. This video was extra different, a little weird for me to open up and talk about this publicly. But it's good. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I love y'all. So, bye.
Oh, gee.